legislative, executive, and governing body of Winnebago County that's been around since the 1800s starts a new chapter as 2 of the 20 districts have new representation.
WIFR's Anthony Ferretti talks with a pair of new board members on what they plan to accomplish, and also with the board chair on the legacy the 2 outgoing members leave behind.
Ray Thompson and Cristina Valdez start their new terms in the 3rd and 16th district, respectively. They agree one key issue on residents' minds is how the county's or their money is being put to use.
I'm excited about everything, really.
My heart has always been to help the community.
Thursday marks the first of many Winnebago County board meetings for Cristina Valdez and Ray Thompson. Thompson joined virtually and brings more than 3 decades of experience as an electrical engineer, many of those years at Collins Aerospace.
Fiscal accountability is one of the areas that I have an interest in, along with trying to make Winnebago the best place in Illinois and perhaps even the nation to be.
Improving mental health access, growing our communities, and improving roads are some of the issues Thompson says he wants to accomplish for the county.
If we can get better quality education and do economic development, those are the key pillars for most communities.
He takes over John Guevara's seat, who served 8 total years on the board.
He was really watching out that we're doing things appropriately and the way it should be done.
Even though everybody might have different backgrounds, opinions, directions they want to go, it's all in a forward momentum.
This is Cristina Valdez's first elected position. The Rockford Area Arts Council's finance officer wants to ensure the county is fiscally responsible with its money.
I want to be able to say, yes, it is, or if it's not, I want to be able to say there are some issues here that we need to address.
Valdez takes over Gene Crosby's seat, a Winnebago County board member from 2016 to 2024.
She was very intelligent about real estate matters and really looking out for personnel and making sure our employees were taken care of.
Valdez trailed after Election Day, but the results flipped after all of them were counted. Thompson ran unopposed in the November election.
Thank you, Anthony. Shirali says he looks forward to seeing the 2 new members not only serve the constituency, but the county as a whole.